give up! Come on, body! Don't give out on me now! I feel so drained, my body's thrashed! I can hardly move yet. And this is to go even further beyond!
Hey, let's slide. Calm down, buddy. Hey, I don't think you can grab the bone. Hey. Alright, what's up guys? So this is just gonna be a quick little PSA for, well, mainly with regards to form. So I've noticed a lot, especially with calisthenics, and a lot of the main movements are gonna be the pulling, so muscle ups, pull-ups, definitely the straight arm strength. It's like a huge issue, and that's locking out and using full range of motion. So there's a difference between training using a form where you're not using a complete lockout on each rep and constantly keeping the muscle under tension, which is good for bodybuilding and it does have its place, but when you're going to do things like a PR or max out, you don't want to start from a bent arm position or, you know, not lock out on every or even some of the reps, because then it's not going to count as a legitimate PR to myself anyway, and I think a lot of like professional calisthenics athletes would agree with me. So I'm just going to show some of the difference here. Right there. So perfect. To the naked eye, it's hard to see. So this is a complete lockout. Down, up, down. Now what you want to look for in these movements, for locking out anyway, is going to be the elbow joint right here. And you can tell very easily, even a slight lockout right here as opposed to completely locked out, it's either going to be on an angle or completely straight up and down if you're going to be pulling shoulder width instead of wide. So the problem is, a lot of people when they're doing the eccentric version of the movement, they're not going full range of motion, because that way it's easier to them, and what happens is you also get the reflex action. So without going to complete dead hang and locking out, since your joints are still going to be under tension, you can use that as you're coming down to rebound and come up in the pull-up, and it makes it a lot easier. Now I've tried it once or twice. I don't like doing that. You will get less of a pump that way, so I think that's why people do it, because their arms don't get tired as quick. I'll show you again right here. So I'll just do a couple. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit better anyway. A little bit more height. All right, excellent. Don't fall camera, it's an expensive camera. So first we'll do the reflex joint. So coming like that, I'm not locked out. This is where I'm stopping. That's a lockout. So now I'm going to show you clean pull-ups, which is going to be the normal way that I do them. And then on the second half, I'll show you using the reflex joint. So clean pull-ups, your feet come off after you're locked out. Up, locked, locked. Now this time I'm going to be using the reflex again, but where it gets tricky is a lot of guys know how to go really close to dead hang, and what happens is they just do their pull-up so fast that in order to really notice it, unless you know what you're looking for, you have to slow it down. So I'll pop out a few, I'll try to. I don't like practicing this form, even cheat form for cheat reps. I don't like it. Some people do, and that's okay, but not when you're maxing. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm going to try to do a few without locking out as fast as possible so you can see if you can really see it. Okay. Now I don't know how those look until I play them back, but I'm sure the faster you go, the cleaner they're going to look. And that's the problem, is that they're gonna look clean, and because they're going so fast, you're not going to think to stop and look. But that's where slowing things down comes into play, and it really helps. So again, clean form, locked, locked. A little nippy out, but so I'm gonna do a couple fasts with complete lockout form now. And I do have a thing of me doing 28 reps or 29 reps fast. And if you slow it down to quarter speed, that's how you can easily, very, very easily see the difference between lockout and not locking out. So I'll only do 5 or 6 like this. So if you notice there, well, you'd have to slow it down. There's no kip in my hips. I'm locking out each rep, but I'm using the reflex. As soon as I feel my arms slap out, I'm pulling back up as quickly as possible. So it's just, it's very hard to notice a lot of the time. And I think that's the issue with why so many people do it, which is really unfortunate. I'll try to get a side view now to show a front lever and how this happens with those two. Okay, so this one's gonna be for the front lever now. This is a lot harder to film, as you can see the bar right there. So I'll probably have to go with my right arm side. All right. If you see me train, you know that I've reverted a lot to the easier progressions for statics, because 1, I don't train them that often, and 2, I am trying to perfect the form. I can hold a front lever, I just absolutely never do it in training. The only time I'm going to hold a front lever is if I'm out or if I'm trying to show the move to someone. So, right here. Bent arms, locked out. Now, unfortunately, I don't know how to do that slow motion shit yet, because I'm just using Windows Movie Maker, but when you know what you're looking for, it's gonna make it a lot easier to notice it, like, very quickly. Like if you see somebody doing dips and you see they're doing a leaning form, it's not cheating, but you're gonna know off the top of your head. It makes it easier because you're gonna be more tricep and chest dominant in that without having to get the actual stretch. It's not gonna cause as much pain in here, and it's gonna be less range of motion, even though to someone who doesn't know what they're looking for, it's gonna look like it's the same range of motion, but it's not. So one more time, I'm just gonna show the front lever. Bent arms, locked out, bent, locked out. And I think what the issue is with this stuff too is, if you're not the one in the movement, and if you're not there training with the person, it's really hard to tell if they are using the proper form, because it's really hard to notice on camera. It is, especially with angles and everything, and then people get defensive, or they might not realize that, you know, they get this full front lever and their arms are bent like just to this point right here. So they have this front lever, right? And when they're holding it like this. So pretend the bar is in front of me, I'm leaning back, I'm locked in my front lever. It's the littlest difference, so you would never even be able to tell. Right here to right there. Even the slightest bend, it doesn't have to look like you're even really bending that much, but it's gonna allow you to use a lot more biceps. It's gonna make the movement easier. It's the same with planche. Planche is a very, very bad one. So planche, a lot of these guys, they will definitely choose to use a form that's obviously very questionable, and I'll have to show that inside. But when they're coming in on the planche and they go to lockout, you know, again, Austin Dunham's probably the best example. He has very big arms, very good at sets and reps. His weighted pull is super strong too. For his weight, he's only a couple pounds heavier than me, but I think he pulls like 8 pounds more than me or something, I don't know. The lockout, he says it's because of his bicep insertions, but your bicep insertions won't matter. Like my biceps could be out to here, but you're still gonna be able to notice the difference in the way that the arms are gonna lock out. And it's almost like a snap. So when you set into it, you wanna set into a snap for the planche, and same with the front lever too. When you come in to hold the front lever, a lot of people, what they do is they'll control it with the bent arm, and when they're set, boom, they'll snap and they'll lock out their arms. So just look for those little things, and it's gonna help you notice a lot easier whether someone's doing like true form or if they're just cutting it a little short so they can get a couple extra reps or hit that little bit more weight. I think it's really important to look for. All right, now we're moving on to dips. This video might get pretty long because, as you know, I like to rant and I want to hit just like the main things which I've noticed for, you know, form issues and things like that. Now this one is controversial because I know there's a couple guys in my group who I have talked to who've said that there is a place and for this type of dip, and this is what I call the leaning dip. So I don't know if it's more of a tricep and chest dominant dip, but again, it's one where you can push a lot more weight if you use this form as opposed to doing the normal upright dip. And what I'm going to do is just show the difference between the two right now. So the main thing you want to look at right here, so this will be the leaning dip first. You can lean down into it, come up. Lean down into it, come up. Now, what you want to be looking for with this motion is going to be my hips. So watch right around my ass and my hip line. They're not going to move. They're going to stay pretty stagnant for the most part in their position. Like they're going to be almost in the same place as I'm going down as they are when I'm coming up. So, down, up. And this is a dip that Adam Raw used a lot back when he dipped. Up, down, up. And you're gonna be able to push a lot more weight like this, and you probably will burn out your triceps a lot faster, which is a good thing if you wanna train your triceps. But if you wanna hit your chest more, you're gonna wanna do like the normal full range of motion dip, because you're gonna get the nice stretch on the chest when you come down, and then when you come up, you're gonna get a way better contraction than just leaning, because when you're leaning, you're pushing mostly with your triceps. But when you do like a conventional dip, basically, I'm just gonna call it that because it's just the normal way to dip, you're gonna come down. So with this one, you're gonna notice my hips. See when I drop, my hips go significantly lower, right? My ass, my hip bones, everything's gonna be like at least a good 6+ inches lower than when you're doing the leaning dip. And another thing with this one is, come down, you're gonna get a huge stretch in the chest. So when you're doing pause dips with a lot of weight, you're gonna wanna do the normal dip. Like the leaning dip, it's okay, you can build your triceps and your chest up, but you're not gonna get that pushing strength. Like you might think you are, you might think you're gonna be like, you know, I can push 20 kilo more on this leaning fucking version than I do with the upright version, but I think a lot of people are starting to notice that, and in competitions, I don't know how it works because again, where I live, calisthenics and street workout does not exist. It's non-existent. There is jack shit here. I train by myself. I've learned by myself, okay, and I'm still learning by myself. That's why I made this group. But with the normal dip, you can just, if you can't feel the difference, I think that's how you should go about it. Like what feels harder to you? And if it feels easier to do this leaning version of a dip, why are you doing it? So I'm not gonna be able to push as much weight. Like I could fucking crank out these stupid things all goddamn day, and that's great. Like I'll get a little bit more tricep work, or I can really focus, good form, get the stretch, hold it, and then come up. I don't even like going to parallel. You know, a lot of guys stop here. I go right fucking down, okay? I like the stretch. I like pause dips because I only do them once a week. I'll dip with 125 pounds. I'll do massive volume on it, and I will do good range of motion. I don't know if there is a big benefit in doing the leaning dips or the cheat dips. I know a lot of guys do the cheat dips and it works for them, but it doesn't make sense in my mind. If I'm wrong, comment, like let me know why I'm wrong, because I really don't know. I go by what I've done and I've gone by what works for me. So for me, I can tell instantly the fact that I can push more weight doing the leaning version. So either I'm ridiculously stronger in that range of motion, or it's a lot easier. So I'm thinking what it is it's just a lot easier to do that variation. Now, you can argue whatever you want, you know. I mean, like I want to learn too, because I don't really know. I haven't Googled much on the difference between lean dips and cheat dips and fucking, but I know the main thing you want to look for is the hips. And the weight. Like you can tell by the way they go down their chest and their hips, sorry. So lean dip, I'm pushing 100 kilos. I do a normal dip, I'm maxing out at 80. So, I don't know, maybe you want bigger triceps. I can't see the difference in doing that dip. Let me know if I'm wrong, because I probably am. I might be. I'll admit to it if I am, but I don't know. And I'm genuinely curious if anybody else has noticed any issues with it. So next up, what we got is going to be planche. Now, planche is one of those moves, like it's really hard to stay consistent with. And I admit it 100 times, I don't train it that much. I really don't. But there was a period when I really, honest to God, thought that I had a straddle planche. And I was so proud of it, right? I would post pictures of it all the time. I still have one up on my Facebook from way back and I haven't taken it down, but every time I look at it, it makes me want to fucking cry because I have these like, I lock my arms out. That's the one thing I've always gotten right about planche, but my lower back is so high that it's like a fucking hybrid between a handstand, like a shitty handstand, and a fucking, I don't even know. It's just so ugly. And it's such poor form that now looking back, I realize why I took so much heat about it. And I was one of those guys before, you know, somebody would be like, you know, your planche sucks or this and that. I'd be like, you know what, fuck you, show me yours. Unless you're better, I don't want to hear it. But I've learned to work with that. I'm trying to be better at it. I definitely take pride in what I've worked for, but I will admit when I don't perform as well as I think I do at certain movements, and for me those movements are statics, I don't train them that much. But when I do train them, I make sure I'm training them right. So right here, I got my little parallettes, and I don't know if this is gonna be high enough. Yeah, just barely, eh? All right, so for a straight arm movement, it's exactly what it fucking says. It's a straight arm movement, right? So when you're training it, lockout, there's like slightly bent arm planche. I don't wanna hear shit about bicep insertions and all that. Train it with locked out arms. If you can't hold it tucked completely, you want to be feeling it like right in here, and you want to force your arm so straight that you just feel like the constant pressure in your bicep and then right in your joint here. So that's the way I train for it once a fucking month. I swear to God. Mark my words, I will start training this more often, but and then you want to come up, locked out. And the main thing with planche is just keeping your form clean, keeping, you know, your back in a straight line and not bending your arms or keeping your back too high. So for a lot of people, I know you gotta swallow your pride and you're gonna have to end up reverting to an easier progression, which really sucks and it's gonna bum out people, but you know what, that's just the way it goes. I'm trying to think of some other movements. I can't really think of any off the top of my head, but for the most part, those are the main ones, guys. So make sure you are locking out on pull-ups, doing the full range of motion on your dips, getting the stretch, because this is what I mainly train for. I'm mainly a sets and reps guy. And on days I don't do the sets and reps, I'm either going to do a static negative workout, which is hard on its own. I swear to God, you are never too strong for negatives. I can do like a whole day of just controlling, jump up into the pull-up and just control it down as slow as possible for like 15, 20 sets, and it sucks. It hurts so much, especially now I got fat grips. So it's even harder than before, okay? Those things are a game changer. I thought I was strong. I thought I had a pretty good grip before, but now I'm just like, holy Christ. I mean, there's no shame in fixing your form. It's totally worth it to not let your ego take over, especially with calisthenics. I forget the Greek words it stems from, something in thenos, but it basically means beauty and strength. So calisthenics is derived from having beauty and strength. That means taking pride in your movements, doing good form, and just really pushing the body to do things that, you know, normally people wouldn't do with it. Put in the work. Don't get upset if you can't do a front lever right off the bat. Even if you can't do like an advanced tuck, because advanced tuck is how I'm training it very sporadically right now. But I am also testing if weighted pull-ups alone and just having a very strong back will allow me to maintain a front lever in the same ways that having you know, a good pushing strength and handstand push-ups and weighted dip will help me, locking out each rep, of course, with being able to actually hold the planche and work my straight arm movements a lot better. So, I don't know, that's just how I feel about a lot of this stuff. You know, if you disagree with me, that's cool. I don't 100% think I'm right about a lot of this. I know cheat form has its place, but I don't like it. Negatives I like. But just don't let your ego take over. Don't disregard good range of motion so that you can get a few more reps. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of guys here in this group, Calisthenics Worldwide. If you watch this, you know you have clean form. Like, even if you're only doing 15 reps on pull-ups, but you're doing them like very pretty and perfect form, and then there's some other bigger guy who's doing, you know, 30, but you notice his form is a little off, and you're thinking, well, can I get away with this form and just do more reps? And then, you know, maybe it'll be like I progress faster. Don't do it. Like, stick to true form, stick to locking out, master each progression of the movement, and don't let your ego take over. I don't know, I just wish there was more competitions here, so like I could really understand a lot more about this stuff instead of just having to learn and watch and apply like what I've done. And I rant a lot. I know I rant a lot, so don't have to fucking watch it. But yeah, I got these fat grips up there now, so I'm working on those. I'm trying to get better grip strength because that's what kills me in my pull-ups. If you didn't see, I hit the 29, which is fucking hard for me anyway, because I never train more than like 3 reps in a set. Train hard, keep working on your form. If you actually watch this video, appreciate it. Feel free to like it. Don't forget to join Calisthenics Worldwide on Facebook. If you didn't like it, fuck off, whatever. Dislike it and be on with your way. But like I said, I mean, I don't know a lot about this stuff, but I know that I've managed to progress doing things the way I've done them so far, and I've learned a lot along the way. And I think the very basic, the very, you know, biggest thing is clean form. Practice clean form and you'll get every movement. Even if it's going to take slower, at least you're going to get it in the long run. So take care. Appreciate it. Yeah, keep killing it.